Have you ever wondered how people get that fun denim look on their signs and projects? Well, I'm going to show you today. First, you want to start with your base color. I'm just doing a typical denim, like old school blue denim. So for the base, I'm using a chalk paint I think it's Folk Art. The shade color is Glacier Blue, but you just need a light color blue base to get started. You're going to get that painted on there and covered really good, and you want to make sure that you also let that dry before you go on to the next step. Almost finished putting that down, and this is something that you can do with any variation of color. This is a cute little scarecrow that we offer, but I'm going to do this is a boy, and I'm going to do a girl version with some pink overalls soon, so stay tuned for that. But for now, we're doing the denim. Again, you want to start with a light blue. I just put that on, as you see, with just a cheap or inexpensive sponge brush. Going around those patches. You can paint right over because those details are etched into all of our wood blanks. You can paint over it and still see it, but sometimes I just go wild and paint around it, right? Try to stay inside my lines, but it's also not ever necessary. Finishing up his other leg. We're going to let that dry, and then we'll move to the next step. And like I said, I did use chalk paint as the base for these overalls, but for the top coat, it works a little bit better if you don't use chalk paint. Chalk paint, once it dries, it sets pretty good. So I did use just a regular acrylic paint for my top coat. So doing a little bit of the darker blue now. I believe I used some apple barrel paint, and it's the color 2 blue. But again, you just want to use a light shade for your base. Let that dry really good, and then come back in with your darker color. That's going to be your main color. This top coat is going to be your main color, so you want to make sure that that's going to match the rest of your design. Again, going around those patches. This is a really fun technique. It doesn't ever come out the same way twice, so it's another way that you can add a little bit of personality, a little bit of variation to your projects. I just love the way that it comes out every single time. You know, in denim, if you have 5 pair of the same pair of blue jeans, and every time you wash them, they all come out different, right? Just depends on how you wear them, what you're doing when you're wearing them. If you're like me, you have paint all over them, so maybe that's the next variation we need to do for the denim, is the paint colored overalls, because I do love my overalls. Okay, so we're going to let that dry really good, and then we're going to take a piece of coarse, and you want this to be coarse, sandpaper or a sanding block. And you want to take and go in one direction. So here I'm going in the horizontal or straight across, left to right direction. And I decided that little sponge block wasn't working, so I got just a regular piece of sandpaper. This is probably a 40 or a 60 grit. It's really, really rough, so you want to be careful not to scratch up your hands, because that'll do that too. And you can see in here in the video that it just kind of looks scratched up at this point. So this is where I'm going to say, trust the process. It's going to be beautiful, and you're going to love it when you finish. And this is a messy technique. You're going to get that paint dust everywhere. So you just want to make sure that you don't have a fresh project nearby that is going to, you can see the blue on my table around the outline, around the cutout. It does make a mess, but it's fun, and that cleans up really good. I just use a wet cloth and wipe off my table, and then before I go to the next step, I also wipe off the surface. So we've got him finished going in that one direction. Oh, nope, see? It's never finished when we're adding details, is it? So we're going to just go back around, make sure if there's darker spots, I like to kind of go a little bit heavier in one spot or the other, and you kind of want to go around the edges of him and just make it look like regular old overalls. So I'm using just like a tack cloth to pull that dust off so the dust don't fly everywhere. You can use a tack cloth, or again, you can just use a wet cloth. I do suggest when you're using a wet cloth on your wood projects that you use a lint-free cloth. Don't use paper towels. You can use like baby wipes. Some people use the disinfectant wipes. I don't love the smell of those, so I don't use those. I use either unscented baby wipes or washcloth that you can see there in the screen as well. Now we're here for our final step, and we're taking that same piece of sandpaper and we're going up and down in the vertical direction. And you can start to see it's coming together as that denim look. And you can do this as detailed or as distressed as you want to. You can do a little bit of light distressing to get this denim look. You can get them to where they've been on the farm for years. You know, Papa will like to wear his overalls until they wore slap out, right? So that's just where this is up to you and your heart's desire. You just sand them away until they make you happy, and just remember to trust the process. And this is just about fun. You know, painting is about healing hearts through art, is what we talk about often here on our channel. And the perfect project is the one that makes our heart smile in the end when we're done. And this definitely makes my heart smile. I do love the denim look. So again, you can see where that blue is going all over the table, and it's going in the parts that we didn't paint. But don't worry, I always on my projects do the denim technique first, so that if I've already painted the other areas of the Scarecrow or whatever project I'm working on, and I do this blue dust doesn't mess up the paint job on the rest of it. So this is always going to be your first step. Usually I say to paint your lightest color first. So like if you have white or cream or tan on your sign or wood project, then you want to paint those colors first. But in the case where you're using the denim technique, you want to do that first. And as you see, I held my hand up there a few seconds ago and showed that blue dust. It's a messy one, but it's worth it. Some ways to create just makes a big mess, right? I'm going back in and going a little bit more heavy-handed in some spots to make it look like they're more work worn in those spots than the others. And tell me down in the comments, have you ever done the denim technique like this, or do you have any other tips or tricks for us? And also, do you plan on doing this? This one that I'm working on is a 3 feet tall Scarecrow door hanger, and we'll paint it up and add some raffia for his hands and legs. I'll put the link to where you can buy your own wood cutout to paint your own, or we also sell these ready to display, which is what this is. We sell quite a few of these on Etsy, and people just want to open their box and hang it on their door. They don't want to paint. But if you are a painter, if you're a DIY person and you like to add your own thing, and then we offer those wood blanks as well, and those the details in the design is etched on there to help you stay on track and know what goes where. It's even got the stripes for his cute little shirt. Now, we do have a girl version that we're getting ready to release. She doesn't have stripes on her shirt. That gives us the freedom to add some flowers or polka dots or whatever we would like. And here's the finished product. Check out that denim.